Okay, guys. So for this me party for the end of chapter 11, I really want to look at this idea of cloning. And I found something on Britannica Kids that I really thought explained the idea that they are discussing here in the compound really, really well in scientific ways. Since I'm not a science teacher, obviously I don't necessarily have the terminology and the expertise to be able to explain this to you. We should get Miss Mack involved, definitely. She'd have a better time of it probably. But I want to go ahead and read this to you and share this with you just so that you have an idea of what we're talking about. This part here that I just screenshot from Britannica Kids, and I will go ahead and link this resource into our folder so that you can do additional reading on the idea of cloning if you'd like to. That's not a requirement. I just need you to understand at least this part of it. But if it's something that's interesting to you, feel free to do some more reading up on it. So what they have here is they have reproductive cloning, which is what Rex is proposing to Eli at the end of chapter 11 here. It says reproductive cloning is the creation of offspring that are identical to an original animal. So in this case, a human being is what they're talking about. To accomplish this, scientists take DNA out of a cell from the original animal. They then take an egg from another animal and remove that egg's DNA. Next, they put the original animal's DNA into the empty egg. The egg then develops into an embryo or early form of the cloned animal. Finally, the embryo is placed within a female animal who carries the clone until it is ready to be born. So all of that basically happened in a test tube or a petri dish or something like that in some controlled environment, and then it would be implanted into a female animal or human, or in this case Rex said possibly Lexi, who would then carry that embryo to term and give birth to it. It says reproductive cloning is not easy. Cloned embryos often fail to develop. The first successfully cloned adult mammal was a sheep. The clone named Dolly was born in Scotland in 1996. You may have heard about her before. And then it says scientists later cloned pigs, mice, dogs, horses, and other animals. Cloning monkeys and apes has proved to be more difficult. The third paragraph there says some scientists have experimented with cloning human beings. Their work has been limited, however, because many people think human cloning is wrong. In 2005, the United Nations passed a declaration against human cloning. So this is a very highly debated topic, guys. It is something that you can tell by the dates that are out there. Goodness gracious. You can tell by the dates that they have in there that it is something that is highly, it's been around for a while. They've been talking about it for a long time. And the idea that you can actually take apart these cells and to take the DNA out of it and everything is so beyond my comprehension of science or anything like that it really is just baffling. It's a very, very, it's a hard concept to understand, at least if you don't have a super sciencey brain. But that's what they're proposing here. And the reason that it's popping up right now, again, we've got S.A. Bodine slapping us across the face with a concept that is super out there, super edgy, super mature. But again, who's coming up with that idea? It's Rex again, this guy who is a very logical, very sciencey mind. And, this debate of whether or not it goes against nature, that is kind of the debate that comes up about cloning. And I think that, no matter what your perspective, again, we suspend that judgment and we understand where Rex is coming from with this. But then we also have to take a step back and look at it from Eli's perspective, because he's the one who's literally throwing up in the sink over this idea, because he just can't even comprehend that his dad is trying to go this far to make sure that his family survives. So I wanted to explain all of that so that we were all on the same page with that. And it also then will help you to answer your question today. The question for the end of chapter 11 is, what do you guys think? Cloning human beings. It's a super hotly debated topic. You've had it defined for you now. Now think about the way, now you're allowed to have judgment. I'm asking you to have an opinion now. What's your opinion? Do you think it's worth looking at things like this? Because there's a lot of benefits that could come out of it, but then there's also the moral ethical code of science and whether or not this is something we should even be messing with. So weigh those two options, pick a decision, and even if you end up saying, you know, that it's your decision is based on like, well, I think it's okay if, or something like that, just make a claim. That's the biggest thing for this question. I want you to make a statement. What do you believe about cloning based on what you know about it right now? And then I just want you to tell me why. Tell me, back it up with your own reasoning, you know, what you think about things. I'm just not looking for an essay or anything like that. But think about how you wrote your opinion essays this year and try to pull some of your writing elements from that to make sure that you are producing a claim and that you're backing that up, okay? If you got any questions for me, just let me know. Thanks, guys.